Okay, so this is one of those things that I think is relatively good news for Xbox, and it just goes to show that, you know, one game can make a difference. All you need is really one big thing to kind of turn things around. And I feel like Microsoft didn't really give themselves that chance when, this kind of stuff happened and they start, putting their games to other devices and things like that. It's like, honestly, they really did not give themselves a chance. And that is such a frustrating thing as a fan, but at the end of the day, hey, we're going to go ahead and talk about this and see if, this is something that we can actually be happy about for Xbox. Because, listen, there's going to be good Xbox stuff, right? I mean, so if you guys didn't know, and I did a video about this the other day, there's two things that I want to talk about here. So one thing is, and I did a video on this, there's a new Xbox dev kit that was certified for testing in South Korea. And now a picture of this XDK is leaked, and this thing is ginormous. It looks very, very different. I'm going to link the article with it. I hesitate to actually put the picture of it in there because you never know if they try to take that stuff down or whatever. But it looks enormous, right? So this could be a brand new Xbox, a more powerful one, as far as I can tell. Or maybe it's not. So, it's sitting next to an Xbox Series X on this platform. And to be honest with you, it looks very, very, very different, and it looks ginormous. So, in fact, it looks like two Xbox One X's stacked on top of each other, and maybe even bigger than that. So, besides the fact that Xbox Series X refresh Brooklyn, which again, you wouldn't need a new XDK for that. I don't know why, a lot of articles keep bringing that up. It's the same power, unless they decided to go in a more powerful direction. Now, some people are assuming that maybe they are going in a more powerful direction. I also saw some people mention that maybe it had something to do with cloud gaming or something like that. I don't think you use a big beefy thing like this for cloud gaming. But, again, the cloud stuff is supposed to really just be taken care of in itself when it comes to this. And, I think we'll see how this kind of stuff works out long term. But anyway, so again, this is going to be very interesting to see. Is this going to be a pro version for Xbox to match up against the PS5 Pro? I don't know. Maybe Microsoft changed their mind when they started finding out a couple years ago about a PS5 Pro. That could be something that we know, because we know Phil said over a year ago, oh, well, right now, fans aren't asking for this, et cetera, et cetera. And that's accurate for right now. But when you do say stuff like that, it obviously leaves the door open for later. And, again, that's one of those things where we kind of look at this and we say, okay, well, what can Microsoft do to continue to get people maybe on board with Xbox? A new powerful Xbox, maybe. I personally don't see the point, but, maybe they see some sort of point to that. There was some other bit of interesting news as well, and like I said, it really only takes one big game. You start getting on that roll, and this is what happens. Palworld propels Xbox to best ever month of console playtime. So again, one big game. You're only one big game away from coming back or having something amazing again, right? Xbox has that. So Palworld, a game that internet dubbed Pokemon with guns ahead of its early release in January, has been a huge success for both the developer and Xbox. Xbox has celebrated a fast start to 2024, revealing that January was actually its biggest month ever on console in terms of playtime. In a blog post detailing Xbox's effort to support indie developers, Microsoft highlighted Palworld as a key reason for this record and stated Palworld has had more than 10 million players on console so far. So back in January, Microsoft announced Palworld had the biggest third-party launch in Game Pass history. Meanwhile, on Steam, Palworld saw 2 million concurrent players recorded, making it only the second game ever managed to do this, the other being PUBG. While for now the game is only available on Xbox and PC, there's obviously talk of it coming to additional platforms down the line. Earlier the year, PlayStation head of Indies Yoshida suggested it was looking to get Palworld on PlayStation. But despite the success and demand, Pocket Pair plans to remain a small studio, with founder stating he wants to make multiple small games and that big budget AAA games are not for them. The executive did state that he would be open to considering partnership for acquisition offers, however. Elsewhere, the studio recently opened applications for Palworld Cloud testing closed testing program, but it has warned applicants should not expect to use it for free play or experience new content early. So again, I think the reason why, obviously, I mean, like, Microsoft kind of lucked into the Palworld thing, because clearly if you're like an upstart like they are, you're going to want to go with like Game Pass. Why? Because you're going to get paid up front. A lot of people like that, and it really kind of works for many good reasons for the show or whatever. So again, when we look at this stuff and we see that Microsoft has these games, they have some of this stuff that can legitimately be used and draw people to the platform. Take advantage of it. Like, I feel like Microsoft rarely takes advantage of the things that they actually have, and that's really, really unfortunate. I mean, we are living in this world where Xbox could be much bigger than it actually is. Like, they never talk about the console. I think that might be one of the more frustrating things that I've noticed about Xbox in and of itself, is that they don't really talk about the console very much. It's like everything is Xbox or whatever, but your base, the people that spend the most money, they're the ones that realistically are buying the stuff on console. Like, I never see a time and place where people are spending, and games are going up in price, and I don't see a place where people are spending hundreds of dollars for Game Pass, or $100 a game to stream a game on their TV or whatever. Like, I don't see that happening, because games are a much different situation than movies and things like that. So like I said, I don't really see something like that happening. But at the end of the day, Microsoft could do some great things for their console if they would have just, in my opinion anyway, and I hate to be always, and this isn't necessarily negative, but what they could have done is, you already had a fresh start on things with Starfield, then you had Forza, and then you've got Hellblade, and a lot of games launching this year. You had Pocket, you had Palworld or whatever. So, to be honest with you, you just keep things going, man. You let that go. Maybe you have a new powerful console. Boom, you announce that. You see that Sony's going through a lot of trouble this year, and so you have a situation where you can outshine them to a lot of people, and maybe make people want to purchase in an Xbox. But how do you screw that up? Oh, you go, hey, we're going to bring 5 of our IP to PlayStation, right? Like, that's how you screw that up, because nobody's going to wait around. They're not going to just go, okay, well, maybe I was going to buy an Xbox and now I'm not, because I have a feeling this game's going to end up there. I don't know. But this is good news for Microsoft. Let me know what you all think. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.